I'm Isadora. I work in the Visual Studio Debugger team, and today I'm going to show you some ASP.NET WebAssembly apps and how does it work with hot reload, which is super exciting. So let's dive in. So this particular demo that I have is for an application called Picture Fixer, and what it does, it's basically an web application using Blazor and WebAssembly that helps just machine learning engineers to label data. So you have a bunch of images, and then you can just describe what each image is, and maybe you can circle them and label them, and it's just a helper tool for data set visualizing in general. So anyway, so let's just get started as well with hot reload. So what is hot reload in case you're not aware of it yet? So typically, if you are developing an application, your workflow is just editing your code, compiling the changes, switching over to the browser, and then just seeing whatever it is, clicking some buttons, getting back to the state where you were, and seeing if the changes were successfully applied or not. But with hot reload, the idea is that we drop quite a few of these steps, and instead you can just edit your code and then press something like save button, and then that's it. You can see right there in the browser without any recompiling or switching back. So instead of just talking about it, we can just see how that looks like. So right here, I have an application with, as I mentioned, just with Blazor and WebAssembly. So right now, I'm just launching through VS. So this is VS 2022, of course, preview 4. So you can try this at home if you want to. And then I have this application right here that is going to just start in a few seconds. And of course, it takes a while because it's just booting up. And then I even have a loading screen for just whatever data it's fetching. So in case you're not familiar with Blazor as well, Blazor is a UI framework for .NET that lets you build particular web pages using .NET code, and then you can just run them in the browser. So this can be, your code can run either as WebAssembly or just in a Blazor web server. So for here, let me just start with index, which is a Razor file. So right here, you have just seen the initializing screen. So we have a fake await for just the loading bar. And that is mostly mocking some data collection from the server. And then I'm just getting whatever images that I have for the machine learning labeling. And here, of course, I don't have anything implemented because that's what we are about to do in this demo. So I just have this to-do header right here. And maybe I can just start by tweaking that for something else. So this is the first thing that I can do with hot reload. So maybe I can do reload from here. And then if I just save that, you can see that it's actually just applied to the web page right here. So I didn't have to do any recompiling or see any loading bars. I have just seen right away. And maybe I can do something else. Maybe I can do an emoji because I like emojis. And then there you go, right here. I can already see it. So maybe I can do something more interesting than just rewriting text. And one of the things is that I have this collection of images that I know that are there, and maybe I can just iterate over each of them. And then I can do something like this, and maybe I can just show their name like this. And then maybe I did something wrong right here that I forgot for each. Yes. And then actually I have the correct changes. So I had this root edit because I just forgot the E word right there, but then there we go. And it's still sloppy because I'm just printing out the names. But the idea is that I can just try it right away, and then this just improves the experience so much. Let's say that I want to do even something fancier, and I actually want to add a child component right here. And then I have this image like list item, and then I'm just going to show for each of the images, I'm going to list it out. And then it doesn't help as much, but now I have this child component, and then it's printing each of them, and then I can do whatever I want with that child component. And you can see right here, this is the Razor file for that. And again, as I mentioned, this just happens, and I don't have to recreate the state. No loading bars, I'm just seeing right away whatever I'm editing, it's what I got, and all I had to do is just save the file. So let's say that I have the name right here, but this is not what I'm happy with. So maybe I can add just some CSS into it. And what I have on my side is that I actually have the Tailwind CSS library. So maybe I can just use some of that. So let's say that I wanted the background to be white, and then suddenly the background is white right there. And maybe I want some merging, or maybe some padding, or maybe I even want some getting fancier, so I can do some shadows, larger shadows. And then you can see right there, it's all being applied. So maybe I also want something better for the name itself. So maybe I can have some sort of header right here, and then I can just change how that looks like, so it can be just a larger text or that. And then maybe I can have some description even for each of those. So I can do like something with a light font, and then I can just have the image description right here. And then if I just save that, and then suddenly I have all these descriptions right here for each of them. And then finally, I just have something else that I really wanted to do, is just adding the image itself. So maybe I can do something like, then I'm just showing the relative URL for each of those images, and then suddenly I have the images for each of these items right here. But something that is bothering me while doing this is that it doesn't scale very well if the browser just gets larger. So maybe we can also change that. So if we go to this Blazor file right here, and we have this here, which is just displaying each of the images, maybe I can also add some class here. So I can actually have some grid, and maybe I can just display in columns of 2 from right on. So maybe I can do something like this. And then suddenly I have something nicer. But maybe I only want to show that if I have a medium screen. So I can change or something like this. And then there we go. But in either case, this is not a CSS demo. So this is a hot reload one. So something that I can just go right away is just copying and pasting something that I have that I know it works quite well. And the whole idea of this is just showing how fluid it is to actually make those changes and seeing what that looks like. And I actually also have something for image list item right here that it actually makes it quite smoother. So I can just paste it. And then suddenly I have all these fancy pop-up icons right here. And I even have the updated date for each of those images, so I can keep a track on. And yeah, so right now you have just seen, so we have made some mock-up changes, reference other components, child components. But what about other types of things that we can edit, such as C# code, and that can be even within a CS file or within code blocks? So for the last part of this demo, I just have this right here, which just shows the text for each of the images when they were updated. And maybe instead of just calling that, I can call some code that I have right here, which is the humanize less modified method. And then suddenly I have the days that they have been added that I just call right here. And if you look at the implementation, all that it does is just getting the date time and then calculating that into total days. So if I want to change that, for example, for total hours, and then I can just say hours ago. I can actually just change from days to hours, and this is all modifying code, and then, yeah. And actually, I'm not happy with these changes. I would rather just have days as I had before, so I can just tweak back, and then I'm in whatever state I was before. And another nice thing that we have added as a touching preview for is just that sometimes you make some changes and they are invalid for patching right away. And then something else that you can try, you can just click on the hot reload icon, and then you can just restart the application. And then it will just restart from scratch, and then it will rebuild and kick off a new one. And this is all within VS, and then it's actually going to recreate this state from scratch. So you're seeing the loading bar, and it actually reset the whole thing. So that's another nice fallback that you can count on. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I had for the demo. I hope that you could get an insight from what hot reload is capable of, and you can actually incorporate that into your projects with VS 2022.